Are you dealing with uncertainty? You know, that wavering type of mindset. If you are, don't be worried, you're not alone. I can personally say that I've been there and I have done that. But if you stick with me through the entire video, I'm going to share 2 phenomenal tips to help you conquer your uncertainty. It was beautiful outside, but it was hot. But these 2 tips to help you conquer your uncertainty is even hotter. So let's get into it. So how do I handle uncertainty? Like I said previously, we've all been there and we've done that. We've all dealt with that wavering mind back and forth, just being uncertain. And to be honest, it can be a pain in the rear. But the key is not to panic, because when we panic, we promote anxiety, and anxiety promotes uncertainty. Uncertainty, as we know, is like that sailboat or that huge ship in the ocean, wavering back and forth, lost, don't know which way to go. So uncertainty is a dangerous mindset to be in, because when we are uncertain, we are unsure about a lot of things. When we are unsure about a lot of things, we don't know which direction to go. And so that's why it's very important not to panic, but to practice stillness for a minute or minutes. Center yourself and discover the why behind the uncertainty, because there's always a why. There's a why to everything in life. Everything that we do in life has a why to it. Why do we get up and go to work every day? Why do we come home and make dinner? Why do we go here? Why do we do that? There's always a why, and for the most part, there's always an answer to that why. However, when we start to panic and lose it up here, we become anxious. And when we become anxious, we become uncertain. Number 2, the second way to deal with uncertainty is avoid dwelling on the things that you can't change. Avoid dwelling on the things that you can't control, and focus on the things that you can, one thing at a time. Guys, that's how I deal with uncertainty on a daily basis. I avoid dwelling on the things that I cannot control, and I focus on the things that I can, but I focus on those things one thing at a time. For example, I can't control the sunrise, nor can I control the sunset, but I can manage how I utilize my time. So in other words, am I using my time wisely? Am I being productive with my time? Am I spending time with the right people? See, those things I can control. I can focus on those things one at a time, and I can control those. But like I said, I'm powerless when it comes to controlling the sunset and the sunrise. It's out of my hands. There's nothing that I can do about it. So we have to focus on those things that we can control. Release the things that we cannot control. And that too is easier said than done. But I promise you, if you implement these 2 tips on a daily basis, you'll start to see your uncertainty dissipate. You'll start to understand why you've been uncertain and how to conquer that uncertainty. Because basically uncertainty is trying to control those things that we have no control over, and panicking or anxiety yet over things that we have no control over. And sometimes uncertainty for a lot of things is just a yes or no. But we begin to panic, especially as genuine human beings, those of us that are caring and loving. When we have to tell someone no, that too induces a panic. Panic brings forth anxiety, and then anxiety brings forth uncertainty. But everything in life is a yes or a no. So uncertainty for a lot of us is something that we bring on ourselves. And I'm not trying to blame us, trying to shame us, but it's true. If we're speaking real truth, we have to be honest, right? Because honesty leads to healing, whole healing. So uncertainty for the most part is something that we bring upon ourselves, because life is either a yes or no. With maybe is another way of saying, give me time to think about it. But even in the maybe, you still have to eventually yes or no. Maybe doesn't stand still on its own. It doesn't stay centered by itself. Maybe will always equate to a yes or a no. Always. It's just the way life works. It's a set of choices. So those basically are the 2 ways that I deal with uncertainty. I don't panic, and I focus on the things that I can control, one thing at a time. And it is just like, that's how I deal with uncertainty. 2 of the world's most amazing tips on dealing with uncertainty. Don't panic and focus on the things that you can control. So I'm Katie Gates, and I hope if you're watching me, you have subscribed to the channel. You have hit the notification bell so you can receive all the notifications of when I upload. I try to upload weekly, once weekly, sometimes twice weekly. And as you know, you are amazing. You are awesome. There is no doubt about that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm Katie Gates, and until next time.